So my KvK just ended, and I know that normally I do a pre-KvK account review, and then I do a post-KvK, well, how did I do and how did my commanders do? And thankfully, Lilith has actually implemented this kind of kill leaderboard, which is awesome, and I've only got 47 minutes left to do this video before this goes away, so I have to do it now. Anyway, we're going to hop in and find just exactly how well I did, and maybe what I could have done better, and how the kingdoms all performed in the KvK. So let's hop into it. Alright, so we are back here, and first we're going to go into the death leaderboard, which I always find is kind of hilarious. So I did actually rank 8th on the deaths. I had 6.6 million. This does not include T1s. I mean, all my deaths were T5s. But like, this guy was just zeroed in KvK. I'm not sure about this guy either, but it's kind of funny to look at the deaths and see who's up top. As far as the actual alliances go, so LB ranked number 1, which is pretty crazy considering they were fighting like a 1v3, which makes sense as to why they're tapped for the most part. Again, I was in 2638 for this KvK, so even though it says that I'm part of 81, I really wasn't. But when you're talking about, you know, being drained and all that stuff, like, I can definitely see how they had almost no troops left after all the fighting. So as far as the kingdom, I mean, this is pretty obvious. The two larger kingdoms were pretty much 1592 and 1603, and they were fighting each other. 1603 was huge, had the most deaths. They performed really well this KvK, but I was happy with my 6.6 million T5 duds. So all in all, happy with that. So the kill leaderboard, I actually I ranked 15th. I saw 115. I ranked 10th at 115 million kills. I was the highest in 2638, which I actually have a detailed breakdown that we'll go over later. But so 1592, 1603, and 1949 were mostly on the left side of the map fighting. So they actually had a lot more open field opportunity. Not saying that I would have gotten these numbers because my resources and speed ups were pretty tapped, but all things considered, you can actually see that I was number 1 for 2638 and for 1981. So the next person you had down here was SDE, which is cool. He got over 100, and Mr. Lav was also number 15. So as far as the right side of the map, I was actually the number 1 kill leader, which is pretty neat. But how do I get out of here? There we go. As far as my marches, again, I used Guan Skippy, I used Zhuge Liang with Nebu. I expertised my Nebu just for this KvK. This is a really good march. This is one that traded really well. I used Nevsky Joan, I used Hua with William, I used Boudica YSG, and then I thought I was going to be running Liu Che Sargon. So Liu Che, Sargon, right? Really good combo on paper as a 1v1 in dual march. This is really, really insane, but this commander, he just sucks in the open field. He's just not good. I would only use him when I'm swarming stuff for his debuff, but he really just was not, he was not good. So about halfway through zone 4, I ended up benching him because he just wasn't trading, and I actually put in my Tariq, and I started running Liu Che with Tariq secondary. Now, I do have Gorgo. I finished her after the fighting stopped, so I didn't have the opportunity to finish her during the fights, or else I would have run Gorgo with Liu Che instead of Liu Che and Tariq. But either way, that's a next KvK problem. As far as my best performing march, I will say they were all fairly even. With the support skills in Siege of Orleans, I guess you could say auxiliary skills, I was able to kind of really balance out my commander skills. I mean, look at this, like Zhuge Liang with 30% health and 30% march speed, and then more march speed, and then Guan Skippy. I mean, these are wrong now. I've changed them since, you know, since all the fighting stopped. But yeah, you could get like Gorgo with 15% less normal damage taken and damage dealt in Saladin, and then this skill is also crazy. Anyway, these are all incorrect, like I've mentioned earlier, but you can do a lot of crazy things with all these commanders if you've got the support skills available. So they were all fairly even. Obviously, the one that did the worst was my Boudica YSG, but it didn't do bad by any means. It was actually still very, very good. My overall trade ratio, so I got 115 million kills, and I did hit my new highest total amount healed, which was not great. So 49 million healed and 115 units killed. I did swarm a lot. Obviously, those trades aren't as good as the open field. And my last KvK, I got 127, and I only had to heal, I think, 49. So we will go into the honor, which I'm pretty happy about as well. I didn't actually get second. I got third place, but the first place guy migrated out, so it kind of booted me up to here. And we actually have our season in retrospect, which I'm going to go over quickly, and then we're going to hop over to my data as part of what was scanned by 2638. So again, I've participated 2 times. I killed more than 100% of other governors, which isn't exactly true. But on this day specifically, I killed 32, almost 33 million enemies, which I'm guessing was a pass opening. So probably our first pass opening, that's my guess. Heroes, or hero dies but once. Obviously this is the healing. This was brutal on my count. 49 million healed and 6.7 million deads is pretty crazy. And then this was my barb chaining. So actually less barbs than last KvK. I think I had over 500,000 on our last KvK for second, and this time I had about 400,000 something for third place. But I was completely out of AP, so I tapped myself, but that's how you should do it, because AP sitting in your bag is just useless AP. OWR killed 1.5 enemy units. Now this is not entirely correct, because we were fighting out of 2075, which I explained in a previous video. But basically we were fighting out of 2075 so that our kills counted for 2075 instead of 38, but whatever, they do how they want. Okay, we built a lot of flags, not particularly anything crazy. And then for our ranking, OWR and 2638 came in at number 4 across all the kingdoms. This would make sense. We had less than 1981, we had less than 1603, and we had less than 1592, I believe. So all those kingdoms are in a pretty good spot. And our kingdom, we're pretty standard, right? Number 4, number 4. So all that being said, a really successful season. We did win. I did become an autarch, so I am officially 3 for 3 on autarchs, which is really lucky and fortunate. So I've got this armament, which I've been able to put Hunter on. Actually, I can just check them from here, right? I've got this armament, which I was able to put Hunter on, and then I have, where's my Nevsky? This armament, which I was able to put Hunter on. So throughout these last 3 KvKs, my Hunter inscriptions on my armaments have made me a lot more powerful. But anyway, let's go hop into the data that 2638 performed, and we'll kind of look at it from that view and see if any cool revelations come up. Revelations, not relevations. Revelations. There we go. Thank you. Alright, so I've gone through the luxury of kind of zooming in so you can see a little bit of it. I know that my camera is blocking some of the bottom parts, but we're just going to look at the very top here, which is yes. So I started this KvK at 144 million power. I was the second highest in our kingdom, just because I had just pushed to Zenith, which was pretty bonkers. But I did get a total, after the last scan, of 2 billion kill points, which is great. Again, we did not have a Kingsland, so this is all done before Kingsland. Now, could I have kept fighting? Right, that's kind of the question. I had completely tapped myself, so this number wouldn't really have gone up very much if we did have Kingsland. I probably would have gotten like 2.2 maybe as like the high end. Again, total deaths, that's pretty standard, but my total DKP was number 1 for my kingdom. You saw Mr. Lav earlier in this video. He did very well. DK did very well. Quan did very well. All these players that I have played with for a very long time ended up doing pretty well. I was obviously not in love with 38's performance this KvK. We had some back and forth in zones, and actually let's hop back over real quick to this game, and I'll kind of show you how the zones played out. So we obviously started up here, right? I think. Where did 38 start? oh my god, I'm in home kingdom. Give me 1 second. Alright, so now we're actually in Lost Kingdom, which is where I thought I was earlier, but I forgot that I had teleported back. So OWR started off in this top right area. We obviously built down over here, and basically were kind of unsuccessful in this original zone. So we had a very large advantage going into this zone. Obviously 30 or 81 was fighting kind of this territory here, and we had all this zone to move. It turned out that we were pretty heavily outclassed by territory and honestly by open field presence and all that stuff. So 38 ended up getting 1v2'd or 2v1'd by 81. So 38 and their allies, which was 2075. So we got pushed back, and obviously I've got streams and all that stuff. You can go check out that fighting. It was a lot of fun, but we did lose. They ended up building up to here, pass blocking us. They ended up building up to here and pass blocking us. So we had to enter from this pass, and which is why you see all these forts. We had a very long and gruesome fight, which we fort dropped. They actually burned our fort. So the introduction into this zone also was a disaster. They ended up fort blocking this, but I think once SFL came in to really clean up this side of the zone and burn their forts in front of this level 6 pass, I think 81 just realized that they're fighting a 1v3 essentially, because their allies 2066, I imagine, or I believe was their kingdom number, really did ultimately nothing. So this was a very hard fought KvK. After about 2 or 3 days of this zone, 81 called it quits, just because as you saw, they had the most deads, and that it's taxing. It's hard. And to make it even worse, their allies over here just they gave up too. And basically, if 81 didn't block us out of Kingsland entirely, which they almost did, I'm gonna give them credit, they almost did it, we would have basically been locked out of Kingsland, had to fight our way back, while they then had to fight against 1603, who was also strong. And so if they did that while being drained and tapped, I mean, they would have just pulled off the craziest upset in one of KvK's histories, but unfortunately they couldn't do that. So really fun, cool KvK. Did definitely wish we had a Kingsland, but hopefully in 81 we'll have a Kingsland in this next KvK. I'm not entirely sure when we are going to register. There are some rumors about first pop, there's some rumors about second pop. It's going to depend a lot on kind of the release of the new equipment and season coins. Maybe we get some extra season coins if we queue up early, and maybe we don't. But either way, I'm looking forward to this next KvK. The goal is to always improve, right? And I actually got less kills this time around than last KvK, and part of that is because of the less fighting, but at the same time, I want this number to go up, and so the goal is 3 billion kill points, right? The bar has to keep going up and up and up, and as I become part of a stronger kingdom, I think that that's going to be doable. It's going to be doable. So, again, thank you guys for watching, and I will be uploading soon. Again, I'm part of a new kingdom, so I'm a little, kind of in this trance of being excited again with the game, and it's fun. And now that I'm in off season, I have some time for videos, and I don't have to be chaining all the time, and my brain isn't going 1,000 miles an hour. So the future is looking up. It's looking up. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.